All right, let me switch gears, Congressman, because I got to ask you about the tax story. Obviously, your colleagues have decided to postpone the unveiling of their long-awaited tax bill by a day. They continue to argue over key elements, including how fast to cut corporate rates, how to treat the state and local tax deduction. Tell me where you come out on this and what has been your progress in terms of appealing to your colleagues. I know you've been saying do not eliminate the deduction for state and local taxes.
No, to me, the state income tax and the local property tax, it's essential that they remain. Now, it appears they're moving in our direction as far as the property tax, but the state income tax, that would have to take away that deduction would have a really devastating impact on New York State, and it can cause people to leave the state. And the fact is, New York is a donor state. We give $48 billion more to the federal government than we get back. So right now, there's still strong resistance to that. We came within 4 votes of actually within 2 votes of stopping this last week. I think the leadership knows there's a number of others out there who are inclined to vote no. And so it's really a battle going on now. We are fighting, myself and others, certainly Dan Donovan, Lee Zeldin, we're fighting strongly to maintain the state and local property tax deductions. It's going to be a tough fight going forward. On the other hand, I'm sure that the leadership is trying to pick people off one by one. So it's going to be a tough fight. But this is a basic conservative principle, that you should not be increasing taxes. You should not have taxes on taxes. There should not be double taxation. And this has been part of the code since 1913. That's 104 years.
So bottom line is, if you keep the top rate at 39.6%, where it is right now, and you remove the state and local deduction, then you're raising taxes on New Yorkers and New Jerseyans.
You certainly are. And New York and New Jersey, percentage-wise, are among the largest donor states in the country as far as giving more than we get back. Yeah. This would be a tax increase for my constituents.
Yeah, I mean, even Stephen Mnuchin, when I interviewed him last week, said that he understands it would be a 6 basis point increase in taxes on New York, California, and New Jersey. So what's the plan then, Congressman? How do you keep your arms around the debt, pay for the tax cuts, but also, you know, not have the country subsidize these high-tax states like New York? What do you want to see in terms of a compromise here?
First of all, I'm not one of these people who's scared off by a deficit. If the deficit is being done for positive purposes, as it was under Ronald Reagan. I mean, Ronald Reagan, there were deficits and an increase in national debt, but at the end, there were 18 million new jobs created, and the country had unparalleled expansion, and we defeated the Soviet Union. To me, if we can energize the economy, I'm not torn by this whole idea of the deficit being increased, so long as it's being done for positive reasons. And to me, tax cuts, which is going to create more jobs, more businesses, it's going to increase the wealth of the middle class. That is a positive purpose. And again, you know, they've had 9 months to put these numbers together, and we still haven't seen them. And I think that's wrong. Well,
so what about that? What do you mean you haven't seen them yet? Have you not been meeting with the leadership to voice your concern?
We've been voicing concern. We have not seen the entire package. No one's seen it as far as what the brackets are going to be, what else is in the bill. I mean, this is going to be a 1,000-page bill. I've seen almost nothing other than, you know, the talking points and the fact that they were considering doing away with SALT, the state and local tax deduction. And myself, I've only had, I think, two meetings with people in the leadership over the last 2 or 3 weeks. They've been having smaller meetings with individuals who I think they're trying to pick off.
So I don't understand. What is this extra day going to do? Do you have a meeting scheduled today? Because, I mean, if they were going to release it today, now they say they're going to release it tomorrow. What is this 24 hours doing? Is it meeting with guys like you?
They've not met with me. They met with a few people from New York. They didn't meet with me, did not meet with Dan Donovan. I know that. Yeah, it was supposed to be unveiled at 9 o'clock this morning, and now it's been put off until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And it's supposed to be voted on in 2 weeks. You know, when they had the 1986 tax reform, they had 2 years of debate on that, 2 years of discussion. And that was under Ronald Reagan. It was under a Democratic House, Republican Senate. And after 2 years, they came up with a tax reform plan that worked. Now we're trying to get this done in 10 days. Again, no one has seen it except maybe some, you know, the people on the committee itself. But no one's seen the entire package. When it is unveiled, they expect us to vote on it within 2 weeks on something that could affect our districts in our country for generations.
I spoke with Stephen Mnuchin last week, the Treasury Secretary, and I asked him about Chuck Schumer's arguments against eliminating the SALT tax, and yours. I brought you up as well. Even Governor Cuomo tweeted and said New Yorkers are going to get a tax increase. Here's what he said, Congressman. Listen to this.
The issue is, if we get rid of state and local taxes, it impacts different states differently, okay? Senator Schumer has been complaining about this since the beginning of the year, and I understand it would be a 600 basis point increase in taxes on New York, California, New Jersey, and those states. And we're sympathetic to the economy, so we're working through these issues.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out, how you're working through those issues, Congressman. I mean, you know, they would push back and say, look, it's time for the federal government to get out of the way and the rest of the country to stop subsidizing the high-tax states of New York. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, it's New York and New Jersey that subsidize the rest of the country. We get 79 cents back on every dollar that we send to Washington, D.C. Secondly, what Steve Mnuchin said to you there is exactly what he said on a conference call the other night. So there were 9 members of the New York delegation. We had a conference call with Gary Cohn and Steve Mnuchin, and he said the same thing. He sympathizes with us, he feels for us, and they're going to do what they can for us. But so far, I've seen no evidence of of real significant steps being taken.
So at this point in time, based on what you know, you're going to vote no on this tax bill?
I would have to if the state income tax is not adjusted, yeah.
Congressman, it's good to see you, sir. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Maria, as always.
Congressman Peter King joining us there.